And we're back, folks, right here on WrestleRant, where every single Tuesday I, Graham GSM Matthews, break down every pay-per-view that I watch on the WWE Network. Today we're talking In Your House 11, Buried Alive from October of 1996. Since the onset of 2017, I've been breaking down every installment in Your House pay-per-view history, and including some other 2016 WWE pay-per-views along the way. Like next week, I'm talking WrestleMania 32 and WrestleMania week in preparation for WrestleMania 33. So prepare for my scathing rant on that show. But yeah, today we're talking In Your House 11, Buried Alive. If you haven't already, check out all my other reviews of the In Your House pay-per-views as seen on the network. Today is the 11th installment, Buried Alive, as I had said before. So this was a show plagued by injuries. And overall, I mean, on paper, it was a pretty good show. The only thing I will say from the get-go that bothered me about this show was the fucking commentary by Jim Ross, which you will never hear me say about any other show. But in the midst of this time period, in late 96, they were doing this asinine angle where they were trying to turn Jim Ross heel and be super fucking annoying so he could bring in Diesel and Razor Ramon, who had already gone off to WCW. But because Vince was so fucking petty, he brought in two other guys to play the characters instead, which obviously did not last long, but they were like the hired men, the hired guns for Jim Ross. And because Jim Ross was always so bitter and complaining about shit, like it was like Michael Cole circa 2011 in 96, like 15 years earlier, just with Jim Ross. And he was complaining the entire time, and they would turn off his mic or they would hinder the quality. And that took precedent over everything else for like the first two matches. And it was really fucking annoying. It was a three-man booth with him, Vince, and Jerry Lawler. So they just kept on shitting on JR the entire fucking two matches. That was really annoying. But again, like I said, like I alluded to, this was a show plagued by injuries for the first, not the first two matches, but two of the 5 matches on this show. And Jim Ross would also like say, fuck this after the first 2 matches. I'm leaving. I'm not being cut off anymore. They would have Mr. Perfect join commentary at one point halfway through the show. And Jim Ross also said that he would bring back Bret Hart to the WWE on like Raw the next night or whatever. So anyway, the opening match, Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on a Hunter Hearst Helmsley. An early incarnation of Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He was not supposed to be on the show. Like I said, part of the injuries. Austin was originally supposed to face Savio Vega in a rematch from In Your House like many months earlier. And they had a great from the Beware Dog pay-per-view. That match was fucking great, as I talked about a few weeks ago. The Caribbean strap match was great. Well exceeded my expectations. So I'm actually kind of glad they switched it out. Austin was preparing to face Bret Hart at Survivor Series the following month. So he did win here. There were some shenanigans from Mr. Perfect at ringside that would further that angle with Triple H and Mr. Perfect, which went nowhere because Mr. Perfect would leave the company literally a month or two after this to go back to WCW, or just to go to WCW. So that was kind of stupid and a waste of time. But the match itself was good. I mean, it was like an early preview of what you would expect, what you would see 5 years later from Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. So they had good chemistry even then, producing a good match. And this is when Triple H or Helmsley, whatever, was in the fucking doghouse with the company after the whole Click thing a couple months earlier. So he got on the show and had a pretty good match. He wasn't squashed here. The match went 15 minutes. I got a bunch of time. And Austin won as he should have. So good stuff. After that, for the tag titles, it was Owen Hart and the British Bulldog successfully defending the gold against the former champions, the Smoking Guns. The crowd just did not care. Everyone in this match was a heel, except for Bart, but they booed him anyway because he came off like a complete idiot in this match. Billy Gunn was so obsessed with winning back the belts just so they can get back Sonny, who had left them after they dropped the belts at the previous In Your House show. So, the match was good. It was just kind of a weird psychology, I guess. I mean, Owen Hart and Bulldog, I just got finished watching It's Time. I'm kind of ahead of schedule here, so you'll hear that review in 2 weeks. But they were baby faces on that show, from what I understand. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So just some weird psychology. The match itself was okay, but just the fact I think all 4 guys were supposed to be heels, which just didn't make much sense. After that, for the Intercontinental Championship, it was Mark Mero defending against Goldust again. Good match, enjoyed it. Mark Mero should have gone a lot further than he did. His career just was kind of plagued by injuries, unfortunately. And then his career never really took off as a result. And he went heel, and Sable overshadowed him. who is in his corner here, by the way. Sable was like a valet for Mark Mero dating back to WrestleMania 12 for many months before she kind of took off in his absence when he got hurt a couple months after this. But anyway, with Goldust, he was not supposed to challenge for the championship here. It was supposed to be Farouk, the former champion who Mark Mero beat for the belt right before this, but I think he got legitimately hurt, and they filmed an angle with him and I almost said Ahmed there. Thanks, Jason, for pointing that out. Ahmed Johnson. So Farouk's out, Goldust in. Good match. Mero retains the belt. After that, Psycho Sid and Vader in a number one contenders match for the WWE Championship. Good match, surprisingly. Sid won. Wasn't a great match, but it was good, surprisingly. The setup Psycho Sid is the new number one contender to the title, heading into Survivor Series the following month. And the main event, no Shawn Michaels on the show, no WWE title defense, which was interesting. But the main event on this show is a Buried Alive match, the first ever Buried Alive match, may I mind you, between The Undertaker and Mankind to kind of quote-unquote blow off the feud. It would not be the end of the feud. But it was good. I mean, Buried Alive matches have obvious limitations, but for what this was, I thought it was good. A good first match of its kind. Only 5 would be held in WWE. We had this one. We had a tag team one in 99. Maybe another one in 98. Or 2001? I think there was one in 2001. I know they had one in 2003. Or no, wait. No, I don't remember. I think we had one. This is 96. We had one more. You know what? It's going to fucking bother me. Let me look in Wikipedia. We'll find out together. Let's find out. Yeah, so this was the first one, October 96. Taker, Mankind, Taker won. We had one in 98. Yeah, I thought so. Between Austin and Taker at the Rumble. Earning the right to compete in the Rumble. Rock bottom in your house. Yeah, okay, I remember that. That wasn't a good match. Austin and Taker. 99, we had Taker and Big Show against Rock and Sock Connection on SmackDown, of all things. I think I watched that match with John like 5 years ago. I remember seeing that. But they had a tag team Buried Alive match on SmackDown in 99. In 03, 7 years after the original, we had Vince McMahon and Taker again. It's always Taker. I think Taker's been in every one. Yeah, Taker's been in every one. He lost that at Survivor Series. And another 7 years after that. So we've had one every 7 years, which means we're due this year. Because, get it, like 96, 03, 2010, 2017. So I could see it being brought back this year at some point. But, yeah, then the last one was Kane and Taker in 2010 and bragging rights, which Taker also lost. So he has lost 3 of the 5 Buried Alive matches there has ever been in WWE. But, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, good match. Given the limitations, I thought it was good. They furthered the feud or culminated whatever the feud between Taker and Mankind for now. Ending the show on that note. So, overall, I thought it was a good show. One of the better in-your-house shows from, again, October 20th, 1996. Really no must-see matches. No matches I was saying, like, I would say, like, oh, my God, that was great. The main event was, I guess the main event. It's not an amazing match. Not the best match that Mankind and Taker would ever have, but it's the first match of its kind, a Buried Alive bout, so check it out for that historical reason alone. And that is In Your House 11, I almost said 2011, In Your House 11 Buried Alive from October 1996. So my next review, we're taking a break from the In Your House reviews next week to bring you my scathing review of WrestleMania 32 right here on WrestleRant in celebration of WrestleMania week, as they will be at WrestleMania 33 next Sunday, which I can't fucking wait for. I'm so excited. But anyway, guys, as always, find me on the Twitter machine. Follow me there at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/graham.gsm.matthews. Check out the website nextairwrestling.net. And be sure to like this video, drop a comment with your thoughts on the show, my review of it. Share the video, and also subscribe to the channel. All the support is greatly appreciated. Got my words tongue twisted there for a moment. But at any rate, guys, enjoy your week. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. See you back right here next Tuesday for my review of WrestleMania 32. And I'll catch you guys down the road.